Welcome you guys in the beautiful forest. We've got a sun rising, beautiful day just ahead of us, and today we have a sum up of my ultimate test, 2018 test on my channel. Why ultimate test? That's because last season, and you also encouraged me to that, I made decision to ride this season 2018 not the high-end super expensive bikes, but the bikes which are much more affordable. So two of the MTB bikes which are for racing and for most of my training were these. This is the Rose Count Solo and the Merida Big Nine Lite. These are maybe not a budget bikes for some countries, because on some countries still you would hit for, let's say, $500 mark, but these are definitely the most budget hardtails, MTB hardtails, which you can 100% race on. You can race on cross country, you can race in MTB marathons, and so I'm gonna sum up how these two did. And I've been thinking how to sum up the test of these two bikes, which cost pretty much the same amount of money. And I found out it couldn't be easier actually. Why so? Because we have two different approaches. Rose Count Solo is the approach of putting a little bit better components, but spending a little bit less time on manufacturing the frame. And the Merida Big Nine Lite is one of the best alloy mountain bike hardtail frames on the market right now in the world, and has a little bit lower components than the Rose Count Solo. Which one would you choose? Let's start with the frames of these two bad boys. So this one I called Jedi because it's Rose Count Solo. It's almost like a Han Solo, and this one is my green Froggy. I love both bikes. What's the difference? So if you look at the frame, you can see that the Count Solo, the Jedi, has two housings routed externally, which is not a disadvantage, but it's always a cheaper thing, easier for maintenance, cheaper for manufacturing. But if you look at the insert of the one housing which is routed internally and compare it to the inserts that on the both sides Merida Big Nine Lite has, you can see that producing the insert, manufacturing it, making the thread for this little bolt there, and making the system actually closing on the housing with no rattling inside takes more time than making this system. It's not badly made, but it takes less time, and so this frame is cheaper than this frame. I'm 100% sure about that. The other thing is also the bottom brackets. Once more, here we have the threaded bottom bracket. Very good. I always compliment these. These have been here for years, easy to maintenance, with the external bearing still quite stiff, but heavier and easier to make, less precision required. Here we have press fit bottom bracket. That means more precision, more expensive machines that make it, but Merida, they produce the bikes for themselves. They have the factory, they are the factory, so they have no problem with that. And then the bottom bracket itself is much lighter and the frame is much lighter. So this is more advanced system. I had no problems so far. The Green Froggy has well over 1,500 kilometers in the wheels. So that's the difference. These are small differences, but they are there. I'm happy that the Count Solo also has the tapered head tube, so both have tapered head tube, but this is definitely better frame, lower components, and little bit better components and not that advanced frame. Let's go to the forks. On my right, we've got the RockShox Recon, old goods. I have nothing bad to say about this one. On my left, we have the Manitou Marker, and this is the first long-term, like long-distance test I've been doing on any Manitou forks. Both forks are good. But the Recon, it comes with the lockout remote already on the bike. For the Manitou Marker, I had to buy it, and it's expensive. It is way too expensive. That's my opinion. As for the stiffness, both are stiff. Also, Manitou say that this booster being made here on the back of the stanchions makes it for better stiffness because it's lower, it's shorter, it's closer to the tire. But both forks are really you can push those to the limits on the hardest XC courses in the world, period. I guarantee you that. One thing I would confirm that some of the guys on forums say about the Manitou Marker is that you need to put a little bit more air pressure into this one in order to make it not too soft. That means I'm not even getting close to 20% sag. On this one I have like between 0 and 10%. Which is weird, but when it starts to work, when I ride the bike, I do like it. So this is really interesting. Both, as for stiffness, very good, but Recon comes with the remote. I never had the problem with the remote opening by itself, which you've been asking me to check. No problem with that. Recon, I would say maybe Recon is a little bit better than the Manitou Marker, but still Manitou, I could just push it to the limits. The components. The main thing to remember from this comparison is that the Count Solo has 2x11 drivetrain and Merida has 2x10 drivetrain, which basically means that if you want to upgrade just one or two parts, like the cassette to the XT or XTR if you would in the future, why not? Some just love upgrading their bikes. It will be much easier on the Count Solo rather than the Merida Big Nine Lite. But if you still want to upgrade your SLX-ish drivetrain to the whole XT drivetrain, you can do it in the same manner on the Count Solo as you would do on the Merida Big Nine line when you replace everything. But just by upgrading one thing, it's easier to do it on the Count Solo because the Diori components on Merida, that's the highest group sets 10 speed. So you cannot put anything lighter better for the 10 speed group set. So that's something to remember. So we've got basically Diori here and SLX there. Also, if the cadence is very important for you and you are using your hardtail for marathons and you're a good marathoner, the cadence is super important because it saves you the energy. Then it's a bit easier on the 11 speed. It's not a huge difference, but it's a bit easier on the 11 speed cassette to find the right gearing ratio. And also, if you replace the cassette accordingly to the course you're riding, then the 11 speed is better than the 10 speed. That's something very, very obvious. Now the brakes. Here we have Diorish one finger operated brakes. Very powerful, more than enough for any XC and marathon racing, even on the World Cup level, truly. And here we've got Altus. And as for the power, I had no problems with my Altuses. To be honest, I like those even more than my SRAMs on my 96. But these are like 2 or 3 fingers operated, should not be any longer produced, in my opinion, because when people brake with the 3 fingers, they don't have control over the handlebars, and when something comes up, they will just squeeze everything, thinking they are squeezing handlebars, but they squeeze the brakes and they go over the bars. So shouldn't be produced anymore because the brakes are powerful enough to use just 2 or 1 finger, even for women. But the problem for me is not the braking power. It's just enough. These are really strong brakes. But in order to use 1 finger, I need to push those levers inwards, and then also my shifting levers go inwards, and then they are just too far. So it's impossible to adjust my cockpit just perfectly as I would like to. So for such a lever of the bike, of the frame, the Altus brakes are not good, and it's not the matter of the price. I would really pay those $25 more, maybe not even that, for the bike, just for the sake of having such a brakes, that's for sure. And so what's the verdict then? Which one wins the test? Well, I want you to say, because I know that some of my viewers say console is the thing, others will say that Merida Big Nine Lite is the thing. I know that Merida doesn't operate in US. Can you buy Rose in US? I think so. Let me know about that as well. Which one did I like more? I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. Both bikes are good, and I myself, I would not be upgrading these bikes. I would not be putting XT components, and so the only thing I would like to change on the Merida is to change the gearing ratio smaller, to have better steps between the different gears. So I'm gonna maybe put there the road specific cassette even. And the brakes, of course, one finger operated brakes, that would be awesome. Nothing more, nothing more. And I'm happy that I did this test, and I'm riding more affordable bikes. For 30% of the price of those high-end bikes, you get 92% of the joy of riding. So that's the thing, and I'm gonna push that topic throughout 2019 for sure. Thanks for watching. Oh, sorry, I forgot one thing, actually two. The console has the little hole in the seat tube for the dropper post, but they didn't make anything to mount the housing on the main tube. That's weird. So the hole is there, and Merida doesn't have it, and this insert here for the housing of the front derailleur, it just comes out, so that's not really very well made. Otherwise, great bikes. And 2019, I'm gonna for sure push the topic of more affordable bikes even more. I'm not gonna go where the world is going and where many of the influencers are going. Better, no more carbon. Now we're gonna go for some super duper materials for lighter frames. No, guys, this is the real thing. This is the real thing, because it doesn't cost much, it gives you that much joy. Thanks for watching. See ya. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Remember to join our forum.sigbiker.com, where we discuss all the topics, training, service, any issues with the bikes. If you want to share anything with us, join our Facebook group. All the links are below. And if you want to join my patrons, feel free to do so. And now, okay, you might watch just 1 or 2 episodes more, but then let's go and ride.